And we are back with a 2 News investigation. Troubling questions about local murder suspect Charlie Myers.
Now, you saw Myers confess to our cameras after the death of Jenny Nelson and the kidnapping of her young son. Well, Myers' former neighbors now say a judge failed to protect Nelson.
Shelby Costo looked into Myers' violent past and asked why he was not punished as an adult. Shelby?
Well, right now, Charlie Myers is locked up here in the Montgomery County Jail. Now, next week, a judge should decide if he's competent to stand trial or if he'll get a third psychological evaluation. In the meantime, his former neighbors wonder why he was on the streets in the first place, given his extremely dangerous past.
It's just a horrible tragedy that the Nelsons had to go through this, lose a wife and mother and took murder to get this kid put away.
I want to say sorry for the crime, but this is my first time I ever had my whole life.
Colleen Erickson and her son Glenn watched in horror as Charlie Myers confessed to murdering Jenny Nelson.
I made mistakes and I apologize for the family.
At that moment, I was just hair standing up, chills. It was just horrifying because I knew it. I knew there would be something.
Oh, we just knew something was going to happen, but why would it be murder?
Seeing that story come out just brought all this back. It's just the horror of our lives.
That horror began in 2004 when 17-year-old Myers moved in next door to the Ericksons. Shortly after he started living there, Myers broke into their home.
He found my husband's guns. He had a gun collection. And he broke into our safe and stole things out of there. Pictures of my granddaughters in their bathing suits. He took some really strange things. Some of my bathing suit, part of one of my bathing suits. I mean, just weird things.
Then he threw a match on their bed and burned their dream home down. Colleen and her husband Clarence were vacationing in Florida and came home to find total devastation.
Just horrible, horrible. The house was total loss. No one knows what it's like to have a fire and lose everything until you have it. I mean, it's just horrible.
A few days after the fire, police arrested Myers for trying to sell the guns to a local dealer. Prosecutors charged him with aggravated arson, burglary, and grand theft. The Ericksons wanted him tried as an adult, but the judge felt differently and sent him to juvenile court.
It's a totality of the circumstances.
Montgomery County Juvenile Judge Nick Kuntz isn't surprised the Union County Juvie judge decided then Myers wasn't ready for an adult prison.
You got to take into account their mental age, their physical age, their maturity level, and you say, you know, maybe this individual should not be treated as an adult.
Psychologists determined Myers could barely read, was abused as a child, and was hearing impaired since birth. All those factors went into the judge's decision to keep him in detention. Myers left the juvenile system when he turned 21. A year and a half later, prosecutors say Myers came here to the Nelsons' home on Redder Avenue and murdered Jenny Nelson. Judge Kuntz says this type of case is every judge's worst fear, but they try their best to determine if a teenager can be rehabilitated instead of being locked away.
There's no crystal ball. And so, you know when you're making these decisions that there's a possibility of making a mistake.
Colleen and her family are still struggling to put the pieces of their shattered lives back together. Her husband Clarence was never the same after the fire.
And he went down mentally. He got quieter and quieter, and then he passed away 2 years ago.
Colleen and her son hope Myers stays in prison for life.
I just wanted to make sure that he never gets out again to do this to somebody else. He ruined our life, and now he's really ruined somebody else's life.
The right thing to do is stop this. This is horrible. This should have never happened. These people are going through a tragedy now that definitely should have been avoided.
And the Ericksons definitely believe Myers is competent to stand trial. His next meeting with the judge happens June 9th. We, of course, will keep you updated. Reporting live in Dayton, Shelby Costo, 2 News on your side.
All right, Shelby, thanks.